All right, so today we have Ken Boggle and Logan Taylor, members of the Freaky Five on Hulu's new ghost hunting series, Living for the Dead. How are you both doing today?
Amazing.
Beautiful. It's a gorgeous, dark, stormy fall day. I'm in my element.
Yes, yes, love it. So tell me, how excited are you both for that Living for the Dead has finally premiered on Hulu?
I my myself, my mind explodes on a daily basis. My phone battery is drained every 4 hours. it's been a it's been a massive dream come true. And now that it's here, I just every day am trying to find time to really kind of connect and center and enjoy this amazing ride that me and my friends are on.
Mm,
Same for me. We've all had different paths that have brought us here, but
Mhm.
we've all sort of had our own personal journeys and experiences, and we worked hard to get to this point. So we're really celebrating not only the experience that we've had, but what the impact of the show is going to make for everybody who sees it.
definitely, for sure. So how did you both get pegged for this project? And did any of the Freaky Five members know each other beforehand?
Well, the
So no,
casting process, yeah. The Sorry, Logan. The casting process was incredible. They had thousands of people who joined um, the call, and they whittled it down to 12. And then we all met for the first time in sunny California,
Oh,
and we did a chemistry test. That's when I met the new love of my life, Logan Taylor, and we just really connected, and we all fell in love. And we've been calling and texting and FaceTiming every day since. It's like the spooky bitches are real tight. We're a tight group.
good, good. So how did you see your roles on the show?
well, we kind of fell into them naturally. We all have our individual giftings and abilities and talents, and so we sort of um, it became very obvious who was best at what and what lane. And don't get me wrong, we're all very skilled and have a lot of experience in our fields. And so it was clear that Alex loved the technology. I hate it. It was clear that Ken knew the tarot cards better than a Christian knows the holy book. So it was like it was obvious where we all were supposed to be.
Mhm, mhm. So what do you ultimately hope viewers take away from the series?
I'm hoping that the viewers take away a chance to be seen and heard and understood, because it's the first time in paranormal television that a group of that's this inclusive has had a voice in the conversation of life after death. But in the process of doing so, it's not like we're just ghost hunting. We're helping make people's lives better by dealing with the hauntings that they're living in or they're working in. And the tagline for the show is helping the living by healing the dead. That's what we do. And I hope, fingers crossed, and so far this has been the response I've received, that it's also healing the people who are watching. There's several really deep, heart touching moments for all of us, each one of us, and I think people are responding to that. So I think the big takeaway is pride in who you are, whatever that might be, and acceptance and understanding.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, we have that queer element is huge, and we see that queer culture is being celebrated. Do you believe queer people are more in tune with the paranormal?
It's funny you say that because I've always felt like, for many years I hid my gayness, I hid my queer self, and then I realized it was my superpower. And then I realized so many people who are queer are very intuitive and and I think a lot of it has to do with just the way we've always sort of had to represent ourselves or hide certain parts of ourselves to not be, we have this innate almost defense mechanism that is intuition. And I found that so many queer people do have these gifts. So doing a show like this made total sense. And
Yeah.
it feels good to be sort of the trailblazer
Mhm.
of what this new genre can be.
Yes, yes. It's a fresh take on ghost hunting and paranormal activity.
Totally.
And I just love that so much queer celebration is happening. So I think that's something that really stands out with the show. And so, Ken, you are a tarot card reader. How did that begin for you?
So it began 31 years ago. I was 8 years old and lived in a haunted house. And I wasn't getting any sleep because at night I would hear the spirits start to walk down the hall. And then my bed was right next to the door frame. So I would look to my right, and there was this man who would turn around the corner and he would look at me.
Mm.
And then he would walk into the room, go around my bed. Three women would follow him, and then they just hovered over my face. So I went to my grandmother, my granny, and she said, "Baby, you look horrible. You look bad." You know, Granny's a Southern woman who smokes cigarettes. Like that was her way of saying, you know, what's wrong? Granny loves you, right?
Mm.
But I told her, and she took me by the hand. She developed me as a psychic. I started reading the tarot then. Started professionally, like in earnest, like 10 years ago, doing the tarot cards. And I started paranormally investigating 15 years ago, and realized that tarot and it can be a real additive
Yeah.
to paranormal investigating. I think I might be the only person in the world that does a spirit centered tarot spread that allows them to communicate in such a way and also understand and discern what's happening in the haunting.
Okay, okay, awesome. That's great. And Logan, you're a psychic medium. When and how did you discover your abilities?
Um, Kind of like Ken, I've had them my whole life.
Mm.
As a little boy, I would have imaginary friends, and
Mm.
I also
Okay.
not so imaginary, you know what I mean? And then in high school, I would just read my friends and not even realize it. There were so many instances, and I, like Ken, was very lucky to have family members who had sort of gone through the same experiences and guided me. And I started reading professionally 10 years ago when I was 18. And, I always joke that I've been trying to get out of this business since I got into it because there's a lot to it, it's hard. And I'm a person who, even though I care what people think, but I don't care enough to let it stop me. And people need it. Like I said, I've ran away so many times, but it's so obvious the impact that it makes and the amount of people who constantly find me and need it. I don't advertise really, I don't market, and it's just always people who find me. And so I really, it's God given, baby. That's all I can say.
Yes, yes. So what advice would you give for someone who wants to kind of get into this field, like beginner ghost hunters? What would you say to them?
Well, first, I would say learn how to do it, because it's not what you see on television.
Yeah.
Like even in our show, you don't see the behind the scenes stuff we do to prepare the tech, understand what pieces of equipment work in what situations. You just see, Alex talking about, well, this does this, this does that, and we kind of talk about what we're going to use where. But a great paranormal investigator starts with like baseline sweeps, understanding this, interviews with the people who live there. It takes multiple days. It's not just like you turn on the TV and you watch, these muscle bound, hot normative, heteronormative straight guys just like, walking in and screaming at ghosts. That's not what it is. And doing so inherently is spiritually dangerous. So you need to learn from somebody who is very respective of the process and very respective of spirit, exactly what you need to do in a proper paranormal investigation so that you and your team remain safe.
Mhm.
You meant to say hot normative. I know you did.
I did. I think I said hot normative, and I'm here for that too.
Well, for that, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what should you never do when communicating with a spirit?
Never let it have the total control over you. I tell all of my clients and people who are dealing with these things, you have to understand that we, the living, have the power. Even though it's scary and stuff can get a hold of you, you have to just really know that you're in control no matter what.
Okay.
That's the gift of being alive, baby.
Yes, yes. So I want because I'm very big into this topic. I love researching about the paranormal. I guess I'm a little beginner ghost hunter myself. So when I was doing research, I read something about saying you should never ask a spirit how they died. Is that true?
I disagree.
We
I
asked
think
it all the time.
I think I just asked it twice today already. You know what I mean? Like I'm because honestly, if you can understand the passing,
Mhm.
sometimes it helps you understand where that spirit is in their spiritual journey.
That's what
And
I thought.
also and it helps you understand what the people who miss them or are experiencing them are feeling.
Okay.
Because, if grandmother slips in a bathtub and she cracks her head and it's this horrific thing, it could be shocking to the grandmother's spirit. She might not realize that she's gone. And imagine the trauma and the pain that her loved ones are. Asking spirit if how they passed is a really good idea.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. So now, in Living for the Dead, you travel across the country and visit iconic haunted places, including the Clown Motel in Nevada, Kentucky's Waverly Hills, the Queen Hotel in Arizona, and even the Limp Mansion in St. Louis, which I was very excited to learn since I live right across the river in Illinois. So, which location was your favorite to go to and why?
I swear I've answered this differently every single time I've been asked because they all have things about them that were so significant to me and really life changing for me. But the place I'm gonna go with that was the most terrifying for me was the Copper Queen Hotel in Bisbee, Arizona, just because
Okay.
we dealt with so much on camera, off camera. Look, I'm used to seeing them and hearing them, but when they start pulling on me, affecting us physically, that's when it kind of gets like, oh my gosh. And we had to sleep in these places. That was real, We had to stay in these places day and night for days at a time. And I like to say the Copper Queen specifically, it was just us. It was just us. We had the whole place to ourselves. And so
Wow.
that was scary.
So, you had some
Yeah.
actual physical altercations with these spirits.
Yes. Oh my God. The whole time.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
The
You
whole
can't.
time. And only a handful of those made it into the show.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You can. What about you?
Spiritually, I would say Copper Queen.
Okay.
But if you consider everything all together, the Clown Motel. I mean, 2,000 clowns. I, why? I, why? Why? Like
Yeah.
I don't get that. Now, if you're not scared of clowns, great for you. But for me, it was psychically hard
Mhm.
because of the spiritual things that happened, and also the fact that the graveyard had slid during a flood, and the motel
Yes.
was built on top of it. So there you have these trapped, muffled voices, and a 7-foot clown that stop. It's the thing of nightmares. It's the thing of nightmares. Yeah, spiritually, Copper Queen. Everything considered, the Clown Motel, and I stand by that firmly.
Fantastic. Well, what were some of these other terrifying moments that didn't make it on camera?
There were so many, um, like I said, hair pulling, shirt grabbing, scratching. I would go to bed every night at the last location at the Limp Mansion. I would go to bed hearing screams. And I was so, at that point, it was the end of the ride. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to get through this because I was so used to it at that point. But it was just stuff like that all the time. For 9 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever it was, we were living, eating, sleeping, breathing the paranormal. That is real, honey. There's no making that up.
Jeez, jeez. Well, when you say scratches, were there like 3 claw marks?
Claw marks, just different things like that. People would have unexplained, bruises and things
Yes.
on their neck. Juju had something. I don't know. And I don't know if it's make it into bonus content or not, but she had a really crazy thing happen to her at Copper Queen, and we were all affected differently at different locations. You'll see there are several times where I am sort of affected physically, and you'll see that on the show.
Okay.
But
Mm,
yeah, it was a lot of that. Any
yeah.
skeptic should do what we did.
Yeah. Well,
Amen.
that was my next question. Like, how do you respond to those who believe that the paranormal is just a hoax?
I think that it's based on experience. I think
Mhm.
it's based on experience. And you only know what you know, right? So if your experience is that you saw things at night when you were a kid and your parents convinced you that this wasn't happening, and everybody around you says ghosts aren't real, and maybe there's a religious element where it's scary, but you kind of separate yourself from it. You wouldn't have the kind of experiences, say, that Logan has had, or that I have had, or that any paranormal investigator who's like in the investigating process has had. So for me, I respect skeptics because they only know what they know. And I welcome them to the table because there's always room for everyone at the conversation of life after death. And if they don't come to that understanding, or they don't see it my way, that's fine too. Because at the end of the day, we all just need to be open. We just need to be open and at least try. So haters, not great. Skeptics, come on in.
I completely agree with what Ken said, because also for me, it took me, because I do want everybody to love me. I'm a Pisces, but I feel like it is something I had to come to terms with, to understand that, and understand that skeptics are a healthy thing. But also, I don't do anything to try to prove anything to skeptics. I never go into anything trying to make a skeptic a non-believer. It just happens naturally. But it's one of those things that's never, my goal or intention, because some people that don't believe are never going to believe. You know what I mean? So I'm not here to impress anybody.
Exactly, yes. Well, another great part of Living for the Dead is the show's host, Kristen Stewart. What was it like working with her?
Oh my God. Okay, I have worked so hard to not say the word Twilight in front of her. It is a
Me
regular thing
too!
in the back of my head, but I'm going to tell you this. I had some time with her at the Limp Mansion where we were just in St. Louis.
Mhm.
And I said to her, "You played a character once," and I was trying to avoid Twilight, the words. I was like, "You played a character once that so affected me emotionally because this character woke up screaming in heartbreak and pain and all these things." And I said, when I was going through my divorce, I watched that over and over again because I felt like that was a visual representation of how much I was hurting. And she was very receptive to that. And she has opened up with all of us in a very unique individual way. She doesn't treat us all as one group. She treats us specific to what our relationship is. She's incredibly professional, insanely deep. She is a sharp, intelligent, brilliant mind. And I still to this day sit there in amazement that a BAFTA winner and an Academy Award nominee is my co-star, and now what I consider to be an actual friend.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. I
Mhm.
agree. And she's so, what I love, she loves ghost hunting, but she's like, y'all handle this for me. And I get to sit back and watch and enjoy it. But I want to just say, she really is so grounded,
Okay.
and she's so real, because you hear all kinds of stuff about celebrities, but I can honestly say I'm just a country boy from Tennessee. So I was scared to meet this huge. She's so much more than I ever could say or you could ever imagine. She's just a real person, and you know, it makes this dream come true sort of feel more real. And she does. She loves us. She's been great. She had such a fresh desire for this. And her hunger really shows in the final product.
Awesome. That's amazing. I love it. So, any word on it if there will be a Living for the Dead season two?
Well,
Fingers crossed.
yeah, fingers crossed. I in my gut think there will be a season two, but I in my heart hope and pray that I get to travel the country with my friends for the rest of my life,
Yes, yes.
because this is the first time in my entire life that I felt seen, heard, appreciated, that my skill set and my life's work was appreciated. And the beauty of being able to wake up every morning with these four people, have a cup of coffee, hug their necks and kiss them goodnight, and know you get to do it again in the morning, is just incredible to me. So I hope that there's a season two. I hope and pray that I get to do this the rest of my life, because it is everything to me. I want this more than I want to be a parent. I want this more than I want to be married. I want to do this work with these people more than anything in the entire world.
Those shows really had an impact on you.
Absolutely. It changed my life, but also I transitioned in the process of this in my own way, in that I have always felt like the outsider, and I never really clearly saw myself. But because I got to see myself in the mirror of my four friends and they reflected back to me who I really am, I had this phenomenal experience where I said, great, I'm Ken Boggle, and I'm a psychic medium, paranormal investigating, tarot card reader, and I'm here to make the world a better place. And that when that light came on, when that switch and transition happened, um, I I I completely changed for the better, and there's no going back. No going back.
What
Definitely.
do I say to? I mean, what do I say to that? Mic drop.
So Logan, you agree?
I fully agree, and I think it's great to get to be with people you love who are so good at their jobs. And we're ghost hunting. I remember being a 14-year-old kid obsessed with Supernatural, Sam and Dean. You know how that goes for a little gay boy. But anyways, I was obsessed, and so I wanted to be a ghost hunter. I wanted to do that, but of course, you think that's the same thing as saying you want to go to the moon, you know. But it's happening. So getting to do it with people you love. Yes, of course, I want there to be a season 2, and I think the fans do too. But we'll see.
Mhm. Yes, I hope. Yes. Well, where would you love to visit if there's future seasons?
Oh my God, Can
I
Alcatraz prison for me would be cool, but
I have a list. I already have a list. I'd like to go to the original house or the hospital where the exorcisms started, like from the movie The Exorcist, with the young man named Robert who was possessed. I'd love to go do that just to see if there's residual energy there. I would also like to go to the Winchester Mansion
Yes.
and see what that's about. And I think that's just at the top of my list. But I know from experience in this last season that there are locations that pop up that I never would have gone to that have been profoundly great. You know, Clown Motel. I would have never picked the Clown Motel. There is not a no. I would have never picked the Clown Motel, but the experience of it has forever altered me and the way I perceive things. So I have faith in Elaine White, who's the showrunner. I have faith in Scout Productions, but I mean, and in their greatness. I have faith that we will be led where we're supposed to be.
Definitely, for sure. Hopefully, you guys will be able to come to Alton, Illinois.
Now,
period.
what's in Alton?
So there's the Mineral Springs Hotel. There's the McPike Mansion. It is literally one of the most haunted cities in Illinois,
Oh
Work.
boy,
and
Work.
it's
let's
like
go.
20 minutes from where I live.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm telling you. Season
live.
5, episode 3. I see it now.
I mean,
Cheers to that.
there's haunted cemeteries. There's, I think it's not the YMCA, but like one of the lodges is haunted. Have you ever heard of the Alton Giant? The Alton Giant. So this it was I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was like 7 foot, 8 foot tall man, maybe 9 feet tall. He was literally a giant. Didn't live too long, but apparently his spirit haunts one of the lodges in Alton. So they call him the Alton Giant. But yeah, there's a lot of like Civil War history in Alton. So yeah, you guys all need
Wow.
to
Yeah,
come to Illinois.
yeah, yeah. And you say Civil War, it makes me think, why don't we go to Gettysburg? You know, Logan, like why
Yeah,
don't we go to Gettysburg?
that'd be amazing. Love it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, how can one stay up to date with you both?
You can find me on Instagram at Intuitive Logan or go to my website at intuitivelogan.com.
All right, and Ken.
You can find me on all the social media at Ken Boggle, no punctuation, nothing cute, at Ken Boggle, or go to kenboggle.com. But I want to plug at it's Ross Hernandez, you know, it's Juju Bay. You need to go check out Alex LeMay. Each one of us has something more than just a show. There's, you know, Juju Bay who does fantastic healings, rituals, and these kinds of things. There's Roz, who is a phenomenal comedian. You can see her coming soon. Her schedules on her Instagram and on her websites. And then Alex LeMay, all these cute tricks and texts and all these things. She makes them and sells them on her website. So follow all of us. You know, just Google it, check us out, and become friends. You know, and tell us you love the show.
All right, the Freaky Five, right?
Absolutely.
Five, awesome. All right, then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else either one of you would like to mention or plug at this time?
I'm
I
gonna
think
sleep for I'm gonna sleep for 6 weeks. So find me find me after the winter.
yeah.
Hibernation.
Yeah, I have a couple of charity things that are coming up. Always in the wintertime, I try to do Toys for Tots for children, and events like that. So stay on kenboggle.com and I'll have it all scheduled there. And if you'd like to participate and help make the holidays better for families in need, I would really appreciate it.
Well,
Perfect.
that makes me look like an asshole.
No, it does not. Logan Taylor, you stop.
He's
It
helping
does
people. You're
not.
gonna sleep.
Right. I mean, God.
Awesome. Fantastic.